November 24th, 1971, 8:13 p.m. Somewhere above the rugged terrain between Seattle and Reno. Inside the cockpit, a sudden lurch rattles the floorboards as the tail section bumps upward. A warning light flickers to life. The aft air stairs have been deployed. Out there, it's 7 degrees below zero. Below lies the unforgiving darkness of the Cascade Mountains. Strapped to his chest is a king's ransom, $200,000 in cash. He doesn't look back. He simply steps into the abyss. He would never be seen again. This is the legend of D.B. Cooper, the ghost of the skies and the author of the only unsolved hijacking in American history. It was a simpler time. No ID checks, no metal detectors. You bought a ticket with cash and you walked onto the plane. On a Wednesday afternoon in Portland, a man did just that. He was unremarkable. Mid-40s, dark suit, black tie. He handed over $18.52 for a one-way ticket to Seattle. The name he gave the agent? Dan Cooper. He boarded Flight 305 carrying nothing but a black attaché case and a paper bag. He settled into seat 18C, lit a cigarette, and ordered a bourbon and 7-Up. To the 35 other passengers on board, he was just another businessman heading home for Thanksgiving. Moments after takeoff, Cooper signaled flight attendant Florence Schaffner. He handed her a folded envelope. Accustomed to unwanted attention from businessmen, she slipped it into her purse without a second thought. Cooper realized this and acted fast. "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." Keeping her composure, Schaffner sat beside him and asked for proof. Cooper opened the case just an inch. Inside, she saw red cylinders, tangled wires, and the battery. It was enough to ground the flight in fear. $200,000 in used $20 bills. 4 parachutes, 2 primary and 2 reserve. No military models. He wanted manually operated chutes. A refueled plane waiting upon landing. For 2 hours, the plane circled as the FBI scrambled on the ground. During this time, Cooper revealed a frightening level of technical knowledge. He knew this specific 727-100 series had an aft air stair that could be lowered in flight, a detail unknown to most civilians. In Seattle, bank officials were pulled from their holiday dinners to gather 10,000 non-sequential $20 bills. Every single note was photographed on a recordac machine so their serial numbers could be tracked. The plane lands at 5:39 p.m. and taxis to a dark corner of the tarmac. Cooper ordered the cabin lights dimmed to thwart any potential snipers. He traded the 36 passengers for the money and the parachutes. Satisfied with the gear, he gave the crew his final flight plan: Mexico City. The crew argued that a non-stop flight to Mexico was impossible under the low-altitude, high-drag conditions Cooper demanded. They compromised on a refueling stop in Reno. He ordered the crew into the cockpit. The last person to see him was Tina McClough. She watched as he struggled to tie the bank bag to his waist with parachute cord. When she offered to help, he simply said, "No thank you." At 8:05 p.m., the stairs lowered. At 8:13 p.m., the tail section lurched upward as 170 pounds of weight vanished into the night. When the plane finally landed in Reno, Cooper was gone. He left behind a few clues: a black tie, a mother-of-pearl tie clip, and a handful of Raleigh cigarette butts. What followed was the most extensive manhunt in FBI history. For 18 days, 300 troops and dozens of agents combed 28 square miles of rugged forest. They found nothing. No body, no parachute, no cash. The case went cold until February 1980. On a beach along the Columbia River, a young boy named Brian Ingram uncovered 3 bundles of rotting cash. It was $5,800 of Cooper's money. The discovery only deepened the mystery. The rubber bands were still intact, suggesting the money had been buried together. But where was the remaining $194,200? And where was the man who jumped for it? Over the decades, the FBI investigated more than 1,000 suspects. There was Kenneth Christensen, who bought a house with cash but didn't match the height description. There was Richard McCoy, who pulled off a copycat hijacking months later but was eventually killed in a shootout. Modern science offered new hope in 2020. Researchers found rare titanium particles on Cooper's tie, particles linked to Boeing's high-tech labs. This suggested Cooper wasn't just a drifter, but perhaps a disgruntled aerospace engineer. While the FBI officially closed the case in 2016, the public never did. In the Pacific Northwest, Cooper is a folk hero, the polite outlaw who outmaneuvered the system and walked into the clouds. Every year, fans gather to toast his memory with bourbon and 7-Up. They call themselves Cooperites, endlessly debating flight paths and wind speeds. In an age of total surveillance, D.B. Cooper remains the ultimate anomaly, a man who chose to vanish and succeeded. Somewhere in the dark timber of Washington, the answer remains buried. Maybe it's better we never find it.